In the race for Satyam, we learned that the process of due diligence has begun and will continue till the 9th of April. Financial bids will have to be submitted by the 9th of April. On What's Hot Tonight, we ask, what next for Satyam? Joining us is Hitesh Jain, legal expert, and our senior editor, Siddharth Zarabi. Siddharth, let me come to you first. What are we picking up?
The qualified bidders, perhaps 3 or 4 of them, we still haven't heard from Satyam officially as to how many companies have been qualified, which is the second stage. They have received information from Satyam that the process for participation has begun, and the first part of that process is obviously access to the data room, which will be at the Hyderabad Satyam headquarters, possibly some other facilities also. Along with notifying the process for participation, the Satyam board has, the management has also conveyed to the qualified bidders several technical criteria and the elaborate process through which the actual bidding process will happen. Now, as part of that, the data room, which is the overall due diligence exercise, where whatever available information from Satyam will be shared with the bidders, of course, without any guarantees to their veracity or their liabilities, will be done till 4th of April. And as I understand, after the 4th of April till 9th of April, the financial bids will be submitted. Now, a crucial point here is that the Satyam management will shortlist the qualified bidders, prepare yet another shortlist on the basis of the technical criteria that they have asked the bidders to fulfill, and the financial bids of only those who are shortlisted through this process will be ordered. Effectively, this is a closed bid process, but there is one small caveat here. If the bids are less than 10%, that means if there is a bidder A who has submitted a bid for, say, 100 rupees and the other one has submitted for 90 rupees, the person who has submitted a bid for 90 rupees will be given one chance to revise the bid. So in that sense, it is a escalating bid, but it is not an open auction in the sense that people are sitting across the table and sort of bidding for the Satyam asset.
Thanks, Siddharth, for that information. Hitesh, let me come to you. We've heard about Siddharth talking about the fact that the shortlisted candidates' financial information will be divulged. Earlier today, we heard reports from BK Modi, one of the bidders, saying that there is lack of transparency, and if he doesn't get the required information, he may not consider bidding. Do you sense perhaps there could be a legal tussle on the cards? Could a bidder like Modi become a spoiler?
Well, one thing is very clear. In the bidding process, 2 things have to be ensured: transparency and level playing field. And if any person who is aggrieved, he feels that there has not been any transparency and there are some people who have been favored, then certainly he can play a spoiler's action. As Siddharth mentioned, it is a 2-stage process. First is the technical process. Second is the financial process. Now, if a person is removed at the technical process, or he is disqualified at the technical process, and he feels that the fair procedure has not been followed, then certainly he can end up playing a spoiler's person.
Right, but Hitesh, how can he play spoiler? Because in the RFP itself, it was very, very clear. The Satyam board had said that you cannot challenge the decision of the Satyam board. The company that was actually going to participate would have to give up the right to challenge the decisions of the Satyam board. So in that sense, how much room does Modi actually have, or somebody like Modi actually have to play spoiler?
Well, it says that he cannot challenge, but if the rule plays, or if there has not been a level playing field has not been given, then certainly he can challenge. This is a government control appointed board. So if it is a government appointed board, then certainly principles of natural justice comes into the action straight away. If a person is disqualified, he can either adopt the procedure of writ petition, or he can go to the CLB and he can challenge the decision over there. But I mean, CLB will be very difficult because I mean, if he is not an existing shareholder, so what locus standi he will get? But certainly he can look at the civil courts or the writ petition on the ground that this is a government appointed board and they have not followed the principles of the fair play. So in spite of the fact that in the bidding, I mean, there are the rules framed to the effect that he cannot challenge, he can still challenge on the ground. And if, I mean, assuming, let us look at the scenario, if some person is justified and if he is ousted for no reason, then certainly nothing precludes the court from looking into this, and nothing precludes the person from bringing in the action. He will not be, according to me, violating any terms and condition of the bidding process also.
From now to the next stage, with the shortlist should be out, I mean, we're still awaiting the names of those companies that have been shortlisted both through the technical and the financial bids. The question right now is from now to the next stage, where they will go into a closed room, as Siddharth was mentioning. Any concerns legally that can crop up?
See, concerns that can crop up is depending upon what are the terms and conditions on which you are going to qualify for the technical criteria. Now, as regards financial criteria is concerned, I don't see a problem or a dispute coming because the numbers are clearly there. But in technical criteria, certainly, I mean, I was reading that certain objective criteria, like for example, there should be a track record of corporate governance. There should be a track record that you should be you have run a globally global corporation, or you should have an experience in running a global corporation. Now, how do you decide that? What procedure that will be followed? Certainly, these are the gray areas, and if a person is dissatisfied, certainly you can look at that person acting as a spoiler. I mean, if he wants to spoil the party, then certainly you can look at him going to the courts.
So, on the basis of the information that we have as far as the RFP is concerned, and whatever you have heard, because what we understand from sources that BK Modi has actually written to the Satyam board with his grievances, he's awaiting a response from the Satyam board, but of course this is source-based information. Would you say that there has been a lack of transparency in the manner in which this process has been carried out?
See, I think BK Modi will be the best person to answer the question, because if he is looking at the whole scenario that the rules of fair play has not been followed, he has not disclosed the reason why the rules of fair play has not been followed. He is saying that the transparency has not been maintained or a level playing field has not been provided to the bidders. He has to explain why there is a problem in there is no level playing field. So unless he divulges the reasons that for these reasons the transparency or the level playing field is not there, it will be very difficult to comment as to whether there is something wrong in the entire bidding process.
Hitesh, Jain, many thanks for joining.